Hi, everyone, and thank you for joining our webinar today. My name is Zev. I am the VP of Marketing and Corporate Strategy at Niagara Networks. With me, we have Vivek Singh. He's a senior application engineer that joined me today to present a live demo of our open visibility platform and obviously a new integration of the Allegro network troubleshooting tool. We have also on the line Paul Clark. He is the business development and the channel manager in US. In terms of the webinar flow, feel free to post questions in our chat area for any specific interest, and we will answer the questions at the end of this session. In any case, Paul Clark is here replacing Scott, that is currently attending trade show.
Hello, everyone.
Hey, Paul.
Hello.
All right, Paul, you want to introduce yourself and Vivek for a couple of seconds?
Sure. Again, I'm Paul Clark. I'm the channel sales manager for the Western U.S. My supervisor, Scott Thompson, is the global channel manager, and I'm taking his spot today. So anything you guys want to know, if I don't know the answer, I'll take it back and we'll have you an answer quickly. Like tomorrow morning or so
Hello, everyone. I'm Vivek Singh, and I'm a senior application engineer at Niagara Networks. My job is to closely support all the sales team globally in any kind of POCs, demos, or integration. I also closely work with the product team in aligning their interest with the customers. So if you want to know any kind of information regarding Niagara products, I'm the guy. Please let me know. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, so we can basically, you can see my screen, correct?
Yes.
Can you see my screen currently?
Yes.
Okay, good.
See your screen.
All right, so we'll start. So we'll start from the big picture, and usually I'm trying to explore what's happening in the marketplace. So we'll start from the fact we're facing radical changes in how IT teams should design, deploy, and maintain and secure their entire spectrum of digital assets. And such tectonic changes in IT created problems and increasingly complex IT infrastructure stacks that are really challenging to handle. And if you ask yourself how radical the problem, so to make the problem bigger, there is a super cycle of infrastructure upgrades that practically forces many changes in NOC and SOC tools that are required to handle the massive volume of data traffic. And we can see that there is an asymmetrical effort required to inspect so much data, proliferation of applications, and the various networks that connect all of it. And the single source of truth to all of it is the packet data that is typically collected with NetSecOps infrastructure and tools. And this collection helps in understanding the network statuses, performances issues, cyber threats, and any other indicative and forensic information. So the objective of this webinar is really to highlight the Niagara network solution and how we play an essential role to solve those challenges. So for those that may be first time or not familiar with Niagara networks, I really would like to spend 60 seconds on explaining and outlining the fast facts about the company. The company was founded in 2017. We're self-funded and owned by Interface Master Technologies, a parent company that is active over 20 years. We're based out of Silicon Valley and develop locally our entire range of network visibility solutions. We have over 300 customers that span multinational service providers, large enterprises, and government agencies. Another important fact that I would like to mention is that our Technology Alliance program expanded substantially last year in 2021, and we score over 25 cybersecurity and networking vendors that integrate our visibility solution in mission-critical projects around the globe. Typically, we serve NOC and SOC operations with broad range of visibility products, starting from network taps, regardless if it will be physical or virtual taps, packet brokers, bypass protection switches, and our award-winning open visibility platform that offers advanced capabilities of packet broker to host also virtual tools inside the packet processing environment. and offer any packet intelligence from layer 2 up to layer 7 in the YSI layer. On top of these visibility elements, we have our NVC, which is the orchestration provisioning platform that simplify the rollout and management of a massive number of visibility nodes in modern point-and-click GUI. So instead of connecting to each element, configure it one by one, we offer more of a holistic view of the complete scheme of the visibility map. Right. Slightly in terms of customers, our visibility solution deployed across various verticals, including multinational mega enterprises, 500 Fortune companies, large national service providers, and government and defense agencies around the globe. Many of customers require special developments based on their needs, and we simply, I would say, in many cases, nimble enough and open to such project-oriented activities. Additionally, technology partnerships drive many of our projects, as we are typically agnostic, neutral, and have good synergy in the overall solution set. For our technology partners, many times we solve very complex problems that they are typically don't have in their organic offering. This is quite important fact. And so if we take to the partners, technology partners, let's move to the next slide, and we'll review the Technology Alliance program. Our Agile Partnership Program is, typically I call it the power of joint offering to a broad range of applications, including cybersecurity, network analysis, and forensics. In some cases, lawful interception with defense organizations and data center hybrid cloud environments, which we could see proliferating today in the IT infrastructure. Technology Alliance activity has two anchors. The first is the open visibility platform that can deliver visibility intelligence and hosting of virtualized tools on our platform. So that's actually the example today that we'll show you with Allegro networks. The second anchor is the complementary with bypass, or basically the threat prevention inline applications that need to sustain always on high availability and avoid network and services downtime. So we are working with well-known technology vendors, and I assume you can see some names that you're certainly familiar with. All right, so as mentioned in the company introduction, we design our visibility portfolio in-house organically in US, California. Our narrative in Niagara Networks is really to enable network visibility to all relevant network data across any type of infrastructure, to avoid blind spots and practically broker the data, metadata, and flow of data to monitoring the cybersecurity tools. Our solution capture or intercept the data, aggregate, filter, and manipulate it is per requirements, and enable sort of polarized visibility through packet data and network intelligence. This type of function solves architectural complexity to streamline security analytics and improve network performances and services uptime. In terms of positioning, our solutions typically deployed at strategic core points of any network and used as a mediation layer between networks and NOC/SOC tools. So the network and security operation teams use our deep packet and flow data analysis, aggregation, filtering, and manipulation, as previously mentioned, and in many cases, data optimization before it will really feed in very specific intelligent method, the NetSecOps tools. This type of mediation layer architecture can certainly, I would say, save plenty of network bandwidth when we do it right, in terms of picking the right traffic to the right tool, saving storage, and also saving high-speed interfaces on the various tools, including performing load balancing and hierarchical micro-segmentation of networks. You know, typically in terms of use cases we focus at, and this is really clarifying what we excel at in terms of those 4 major use cases. And I would like to start from number 1. practically in operational production networks, we collect, aggregate, filter, and optimize the traffic from anywhere in the network, regardless if it will be virtual or physical network, including decrypting SSL TLS traffic inline in motion and to offline out-of-band compliance tools. So in some cases, given the fact that 80% of the traffic today encrypted, IT organization can definitely use our tools in order to decrypt the traffic once and deliver it to many. In addition, some level of intelligence that can be done on packet manipulation or excessive way of visibility. So, for example, we can protect credit card data by masking personally identifiable information, DPII information. This is purely payload masking based on defined policy. So it's a sort of additional layer of protection for sensitive data that passing. It can be used in various customized applications. Number two, and I mentioned this previously, our bypass carrier grade solution resides between the network core routers and the inline security tools that really form security daisy chain or a cascading cybersecurity multi-vendor environment. In any failure can impact the network and create, definitely when you have a failure in the network, you create downtime and failure in security stack. So our solution in those specific use case environments enables policy-based bypass function to sustain always-on inline security stack in all type of network speeds up to 100 gigabit interfaces. We can also perform load balancing scheme, part of it to enable the cyber tools to operate in the required capacity without overloads or avoid flows in threat detection. We had several projects actually that we have unique mode of automated REST API policy rules of what if actionable rules to create redundancy and fail self-protection. So some of those capabilities deployed in very sophisticated customers in large and really complex projects. Number three, SOC management, and packet data delivery. So SOC management is all about threat monitoring, threat hunting, and incident response. The better the data and the more accurate data collection performed, the more efficient security operation center architecture will be. So our solution can accurately generate metadata, optimize the right data by filtering only the precise packet data flow and relevant data of the traffic to SOC tools. Among this, we can reduce duplicates of packets that can be nightmare when you tap traffic across multiple network points. We perform deduplication function, which in many cases can reduce over 50% of irrelevant network traffic and can save storage before captured to storage at rest. Same for other network intelligence application, like same level of slicing the headers or payload of the data that many times not required by analysis tools that handle the data lakes in SOC. And number four, the synergy with NDR stack, the network detection and response. Our Fabric Flow visibility layer helps NDR solutions to get the data feed from any network. As I mentioned previously, regardless if it will be at 360, it will be east-west or north-south, perform detection and response more efficiency via this function. In addition to traditional traffic brokering, we can host NDR virtual probes and engine in instant and integrated mode in our OVP, the Open Visibility Platform. So, and even in some cases, we can create a REST API response on behalf of NDR at wire speed to block specific threats. So this unique option enables additional dimension of a shared platform for operational simplicity between NetOps and SecOps. By the way, Vivek, you see the transition of slides because sometimes there is a delay on.
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, good. All right. In terms of portfolio, so the following blueprint outlines the one cohesive visibility solution that serve NetOps and SecOps. In this mix, the Open Visibility Platform offers the advanced network packet broker engine, which do much more intelligence than just aggregating, filtering, and load balancing the traffic. From the perspective of the solution, we have, if we're looking at from left upper area, we have on the top of the whole elements, we have the NVC, which is the orchestration and management of the GUI that actually can manage the entire spectrum of our products. There is an API, which basically NetOps and SecOps can use either northbound API that going to their infrastructure, IT infrastructure, or it could be used directly with the REST API to each one of the visibility nodes across the network. But what we look at starting from the tabs, so the Cloud Ray virtual tab, typically the element, it's a piece of package or a software package agent that can be loaded on virtualized environment, intercept virtual traffic of east and west infrastructure. Physical network tabs that tab the traffic at all rates up to 100 gig. So we just tab the traffic, could be active or passive. Passive, it's basically passive optical interception, or you have active, which is optical electrical conversion. Packet broker, traditional packet broker functions that can do aggregation, filtering, and process packet data from layer 2 up to layer 4. In many cases, those packet brokers have also the requirement to do bypass, so practically additional element of our portfolio is hybrid packet broker that integrates bypass and also taps. It's part of the offering. And practically, when we see this cohesive solution, it's really broad range, and everything is pretty much organic from the perspective of our offering, which means we are not doing any OEM like some vendors. It's a really organic development internally. All right, so in terms of the solution workflow, typically we look at physical on-prem physical data center. Typically we have those tap physical infrastructure at any interface rates. Then we have the on-prem, not the on-prem, basically the tab that can be loaded on private and public cloud. Number 3, eventually, it's the aggregation tunnel termination from all the traffic that we collect to the packet broker. Number 4, all the intelligence, network intelligence functions that we consider them as advanced network packet broker. And basically the virtual hosting, number 5, that we can do as part of our Open Visibility Platform. And number 6, delivery. This is the last stage of delivery of precise filtered data to the tools. We're going right now into the Open Visibility Platform, and one of the analysts, ZK Research, mentioned that new security realities demand next generation visibility. That are several ways in which the Open Visibility Platform brings security and network operations together, so security and networking teams can focus on common objective instead of operating independently with different goals. And I quote him because this was really the fundamental message of why advanced next generation visibility packet broker is important, because basically it's a shared tool between network operations center team and the security operations center team. And usually those people not necessarily have collaboration in all times. So the same level of shared tool is definitely important when we're looking on operational efficiency. The strategy of our OVP platform is based on the, call it, 3 key pillars. One is the high performance intelligent traffic delivery, practically right traffic to the right tool based on terabit packet broker that we have. And it's basically process once and provide to many. Number 2, the freedom of choice. This is really open architecture. for virtual hosting of any third-party application, security or networking application. So we can load any virtual machine on top of it and create a cascading stack on top of our open visibility platform. And third is really this technology alliance program that enable agile solution for our customers and partners. All right, so we're getting to the stage that why basically we need correlation, or why beside the fact that we're bringing the data, the packet data, why it's critical to correlate and have deep visibility to traffic flows and packets. This is really the essential linkage to identify not only the performance issue of the network, but also predict and detect security threats. And network monitoring can definitely alert IT if there is an unusual high amount of activity at any point in the network. So when we're looking at OSI layer, if we see BGP attacks or SIM floods or IP smurfing or address spoofing, or really the complex layer 7 area that most of the attacks are happening in that specific section. So detection of abnormal behavior on the packet level and nodes level and application level, it's something that is really essential. Practically by integrating network troubleshooting tool into our open visibility platform, we have the capability to really see what's happening in the network. And that's really important. Eventually you can see different type of obviously interest of network operation people, that they can see the quality and performance of the network, whether again you see the client server application nodes, but as I mentioned previously, the correlation of the information will be also very important when you start scratching the surface and you see level of interest for the security team. For example, if you have weak or old SSL version, TLS version that key active on your network, and maybe you would like to upgrade those specific nodes or detect specific areas of problems. For example, in TCP statistics, always you have the handshake between the server and client, you have zero window TCP buffer sets, which are important in many cases, and they can create different level of dive-in options when you have integration of the tool as part of the packet collection scheme. So with that said, basically the integration of Allegro network multimeter inside the visibility layer is something that we started to get more interest from the field, given the fact that one, obviously some organization using Wireshark and using different type of customized tool. But here, the fact that we're collecting in central point in the core strategic section of the network, the traffic, and we integrate the network troubleshooting tool of Allegro, we can aggregate the traffic, load balancing, filter it, and give the right information to the team, the network operation team that can really do the live investigation. They obviously can record the packets and the data traffic, and they can do it all in one appliance, which practically is supposed to save a lot of efforts, really simplify the network operation, network services investigation, and faster troubleshooting. So all in all, you have really low TCO in this kind of method. Before moving to the demo in terms of case studies, I think we have, actually I'm introducing here two case studies. One was the open visibility in application security, and the second one was really the Allegro case that was required to do VoIP troubleshooting, and I think each case is providing its own value. So I will start practically from the application security. So as I mentioned, the open visibility platform, it can host it's a basically advanced packet broker. It taps traffic. It actually can do very sophisticated network processing And obviously, it can host the virtualized environment, which is practically the virtual machine of third-party offering. So in this case, National Bank had API DDoS attacks with too many false positives, and they considered alternative solution to increase their API security. After several investigations, they decided to deploy additional layer of analysis based on our existing platform that was used in the edge of their data center network. And in a very, I would say, rapid manner, they added API DDoS virtual tool to inspect the problems in customer-facing APIs. The virtual tool was deployed on Open Visibility platform, and since our platform was already used by NetOps, it was relatively fast to perform new deployment of API security tool. And use of our traffic brokering to all relevant application flows with SSL decryption. Basically, we got the certificates of the organization, so we could decrypt the traffic before it was redirected to the API security tool, virtual machine. So customer was able to reduce false positives and improve API performances versus incumbent solution that I don't want to use the name exactly, but basically this was really interesting to see that they really could reduce false positives and improve this API performance and avoid the DDoS attacks. And we can also probably say that the NetOps and SecOps team had a shared tool that was practically enabled with very efficient result. So this is really case number one, just to show the security angle. And now we go to the additional case, also financial institution. Typically, a financial institution, they're ahead of the curve when deploying new solutions. Typically, they are a year or two before the rest of the vertical markets. And the requirement was really to have a comprehensive network analysis tool that can collect the traffic, and instead of using Wireshark, Wireshark is really pinpoint kind of stage that you dive into the packet. So they wanted to have like holistic view, and obviously to have a rapid integration within the IT, the network operations framework from the same visibility prism. So deployment was done on our latest platform. It's called 42486C. So network millimeter bundle was part of this high performance packet broker with traffic analysis, eventually enabled in-depth network visibility and obviously performance monitoring troubleshooting. The fact that it was really rapidly integrated, and the fact that packet broker delivering only the necessary flows. Obviously, for forensics, the recording is done on the entire network. But for this specific case, it was interesting to see specific sections of networks segments. And it's actually also reduced the time to action to detect faults. Actually, Vivek will go into the demo, but you will see that VoIP troubleshooting is very powerful. You basically can see the control signaling of SSL TCP traffic. You could see that the RTP, the real-time protocol, you could see jitter packet drops, which are very sensitive in the world of voice. So those kind of indicative and real-time data can be very important in order to identify troubleshooting issues of voice traffic. It could be, again, Allegro can decode many type of voice application, including Microsoft Teams and other Skype and other third-party vendors. And obviously, you can see much bigger picture when you see the performance bottlenecks. If you have some level of jittering or high traffic from specific nodes to specific server, it could be maybe even denial of service attack or something that started from bots or anything that is correlating to security issues. So I think that in this specific level, it's something which is very valuable when you look at integration of such tool and use it inside our system. Other than that, we have also, and I mentioned it a couple of times, the optional REST API integration that you can do dynamic traffic steering and policy rules. But again, today more and more in IT operation, the REST API is de facto creating automation of functions and replacing a lot of manual stuff that was done in the past. So that's kind of the bread and butter of the activity. Right. So with that said, I think Vivek, you can go to the demo. By the way, questions, if anyone has questions, you can, as I mentioned previously, place the questions on the Q&A area. So Vivek, I will stop sharing and get into...
Yeah, thank you. Let me share my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So let me start by PowerPoint presentation, how we enable the OVP platform, which Zev was introducing to you guys. So the OVP platform is a combination of a Niagara packet broker. In this case, it is a 424H6C platform, and then the Packetron. Packetron is our advanced packet processing module. You can visualize it as a small mini computer which having its own core, memory, and RAM. And then on this Packetron, we install the hypervisor, VMware hypervisor. Now this VMware hypervisor creates as a base for our open visibility platform. Once the hypervisor is installed on the Packetron, we can install any number of third-party software on this hypervisor. For example, in this case, we have all these softwares which we have tested and is installed on the hypervisor. And then once the third-party software are installed on the hypervisor, it provides a complete solution of Niagara Packet Broker, Packetron, and the third-party software running on the hypervisor within one box. So this is how we enable OVP platform on our Niagara box. Now, what's happening in the lab, where I'm going to give the demo? I'm aggregating or tapping the traffic from a server into my Niagara 424H6C, which has a Packetron. And in this Packetron, as I showed earlier in the presentation, I have installed the hypervisor platform, which is VMware ESXi 6.7. And on this hypervisor platform, I have installed Allegro as a third-party software. So the flow of the traffic is from the server into the 424H6C, which is going into the Packetron. From Packetron, it is going into the Allegro, where it is able to network, where it is able to monitor the traffic and can help in troubleshooting. Now, let's see how the Allegro platform looks like. So this is the GUI for the Allegro or the third-party software. And so the entire Allegro dashboard is divided into two parts. On your left-hand side, you can see the entire network is divided into different layers from layer 1 to layer 7. And each layer provides more granular information what is happening in the network. For example, layer 3 provides all the kinds of flow which is being received into the network, where the traffic is generating from, what is the quality of statistics for these flows. Layer 4 provides what are the open flows, what are the open ports within these network here. Layer 7 application provide what are the different applications which are being received into the network, what are the different protocols. All these are being done by the Allegro on your left-hand side here in this vertical column, where it has divided the entire network from layer 1 to layer 7. And then there's another layer which is called the horizontal layer or the timing layer, where the entire network or the traffic is divided into different time. You see a green button here, that means the live view. It means the traffic is being received and monitored in the live view, but Allegro is also capable of monitoring historical information. For example, let's say if I need to find out what happened in the network about an hour ago, I can simply click on this timing layer and just click on this last hour. Now, Allegro has switched to the historical mode, where it is going to know what happened into the network in the last 1 hour. Now, if I simply click it back again, it will going to start monitor the live view traffic which is being received by the server. Now let's take a use case where I want to identify, or where I identify a problem happened into the network regarding network load balancing. So for that, let's use Allegro historical view here. For example, I want to inspect this stored interval from this time to this time. What exactly happened into the network during this time? So just by looking at the dashboard here, I can able to identify a lot of information. For example, let's say if there's a lot of multicast or broadcast address, it can identify to network loop. If there is no traffic at all, that means there was some loss of network connection somewhere or during the intermediate connections, or if there is any IP which is standing out, which has a lot more traffic as compared to other one. For in this case, let's say this is the IP. So I want to identify uh, all the traffic or all the connections regarding this IP here. So let's go and check the TCP statistics, for example, for specifically for this IP here. Now, when I look at the TCP statistics, I see more number of TCP duplicate acknowledgements. That signifies somewhere there's
Vivek, I
some
think we
problem.
lost your voice.
Zev, can you hear me? Hello? Hello, Zev, can you hear me? Hello? Hello, Zev, can you hear me?
Vivek?
Hey, Zev, can you hear me?
Yeah, there was some disconnection here, but let me know. No, I can hear you now. It's
Okay,
okay.
sure. So I'll continue.
Yeah, sure.
In this case, we were monitoring a particular IP within the network, what happened for this IP. In this case, I see more number of duplicate acknowledgements packet here. So this identified there was something regarding the TCP packets or the TCP connections with this IP. Now, what I can do is I can see all the flows related with specifically with this IP, and I can see about 109 flows within for this specific IP. And I already know that there was some problem with the TCP acknowledgement. So I can sort all these connections on the basis of TCP. And once I click it on the other way side, and I can see, okay, I've already found out what were the problematic connections, what was the problem here. In this case, the handshake time was way too long and the data response time was also problematic. So all these informations I've already found out within 1 minute. And then I can also see if there is any specific server outside server which is standing out. In this case, it is this one. Now, if I want to look at the connection from that side, I can simply click on this outside server here and can click on it peers here. So this is the peer inside here. And if I want to know more information, I can go into the IP details here and I can see all kinds of information. What was the TCP protocol used by this server? What were the TCP connections? What was the port there? So definitely within 1 minute, I was able to reach to the point which server caused the problem, and I was able to resolve it using Allegro here. So this is one of the way we can use Allegro for troubleshooting network. And now I'll again click it to the live view. Another feature of Allegro is, for example, if I'm analyzing the live view traffic here and I want to know more information about a specific connection here, I can simply go into the PCAP here and start capturing picture. Either I can send these captures to a browser download, to an interface for a network monitoring tool, or to a tunnel here. I can also have the option of either capturing the full length packets or only the headers here. Or if I don't want to go outside Allegro and want to have the Wireshark within the Allegro, I can do that by using WebShark preview here. So now I've started capturing packets here, and then I'll stop the capture and see. So now I have this Wireshark capture for the specific IP, and then I can analyze more what happened within this one. So this is another feature of Allegro which we can use to troubleshoot network problem. Let's say Zev was also talking about the view IP and the RTP problems. For that, I'm using a PCAP file, another Allegro feature for troubleshooting network. So in that case, I will go into the PCAP analysis of the Allegro here, and I'm going to drop down a PCAP file, which is for RTP and SIP traffic. So I'll click on it and put this view IP PCAP file here, and we'll say analyze PCAP. So once I'm going to say that, Allegro is going to give me a warning that it is going to stop monitoring the live view traffic. I'll just simply say okay, and it is going to load the PCAP file. Now the PCAP file is loaded. Now the Allegro is going to monitor and analyze the view IP or the RTP traffic. Now, if I go on the dashboard here, I can see what were the concurrent calls received at time, what were the specific IPs, what were the protocols here. And now in Allegro, there is a specific module for monitoring and troubleshooting view IP. I will go into that one here. It is called SIP statistics here. Now, once I'm into this module here, it will give me the ratio of SIP, RTP, and total traffic here. What was the overall packet loss? What was the overall jitter for these traffic here? What were the number of concurrent calls received during that time? What was the SIP response time? All these information will be provided here. If I want to look at the particular calls, I can go into SIP calls here. So all these calls were received during that specific time. And on the top, you have all these filters. Let's say if I want to filter a specific SIP call, which has a jitter time more than 30 seconds. So I can write this filter here and I can activate this jitter. And then once I have found that specific audio call, I can either download the entire PCAP file. I can also download the audios for that call, for the caller and the callee, so that we can listen in historical time to know what happened during that call time. And all those information will be provided by the Allegro here. And I can go into the call details here for the specific calls, and I can even get more information. For example, where the call started, was there any VLAN specific IP was there, what was the RTP packet loss, all those informations will be provided by the Allegro. So that certainly helps in troubleshooting any kind of view IP calls. So Allegro is a very useful tool for network troubleshooting. Finding a problem in a network is like finding a needle in a haystack, and Allegro surely points us in the right direction. So this is a demo for the Allegro here. And now what are the benefits of the OVP solution? OVP solution provides us the entire solution here. For example, the traffic collection, which is done by our packet broker 42486C, aggregation of the traffic through span and tap ports, then the traffic sanitization, that is like filtering from layer 2 to layer 7, that is done by our packet broker and Packetron, and then dropping the duplicate packets or packet slicing or stopping layer 7 protocol traffic, for example, NetFlow and all those things. And then the third part is network monitoring or troubleshooting. In that case, it is done by Allegro. So OVP is a very versatile platform. For example, let's say right now I'm using Allegro, which is being used to do the network troubleshooting, but I can change Allegro to another NDR platform, and I just need to upload the OVP traffic, and then this entire solution will change from network troubleshooting to NDR platform. Or I also have the option of running both these tools simultaneously, where I'm getting network troubleshooting problems also solved, and also installing the NDR solution where I can monitor the traffic. For example, this is the VMware EXXI where I'm running Allegro here, and this EXXI is running on the Packetron. So let me just log in into this one. Oh. So, I'm sorry, I forgot the password here. So yeah, that's what I want to give the demo for here, how the OVP platform runs on the Niagara and how we can have different third-party softwares which is running on the VMware EXXi and how we can all solve all those problems here.
All right. So yeah, Vivek. So I think that was good to see the real kind of live demo and the different type of screens, which is always very tangible. I see here two questions. One was, is it some, no, this question is why actually it's replacing Wireshark? Okay, so it's not a replacing, it's even the Wireshark, it's even embedded kind of tool inside the Allegro packet. Wireshark is a tool that basically you dive into the packets and the pickup file, which is basically analyzed in depth. The Allegro is more of a broader kind of visibility tool of the network troubleshooting. So it's not replacing Wireshark, it's actually complementary tool. If you want to add something on this, Vivek, feel free.
Yes, that is correct. Wireshark, it's a subset of Allegro in this case, where it is complementing Wireshark. For example, in a Wireshark, we need to drill down to a specific flow. It will be much more difficult. In this one, it is dividing the entire network into different layers from layer 1 to layer 7, and it is providing a more visible picture of the network, what's happening in the network. So in order to reach to a problem, Allegro definitely is going to help more. And also, there's also a Wireshark embedded into the Allegro. For further investigation, Wireshark can also be used.
Okay, and somebody asked a specific question, which is because on the screen, probably somebody noticed the IEC 60870 statistic. So it's basically it's decoding industrial protocol, which is, I don't think that many people familiar with this, but basically in operational technology, OT, troubleshooting is using totally different protocols. So the IEC, and you can maybe highlight this, Vivek, on, yeah, exactly. That's something which is typically in industrial environment, in SCADA. That's a definition of specific protocol. And the fact that you see it here is basically because in industrial environments, you still need to identify network issues, and it means that think about industrial environments. We have some installation in electric companies, so absolutely this kind of tool can reside on our packet broker and eventually troubleshoot the traffic in a very interesting way, because that's not something that you can find in as off the shelf in many places. So if you want to add something on this, Vivek, feel free as well.
Thank you, Zev. I'm good.
Yeah, okay, good. All right, I think I don't see any other questions. So with that said, maybe just like a quick summary. Let me, yeah, you can see my screen, I assume, correct?
Yeah.
All right, good. So, in terms of the summary, so we as a company, I think when we introduce product, it's one kind of one element or one building block of the whole scope of things that we're doing. But I believe when we look at and all the partners that are part of this webinar, and they get the information always on different other channels that we provide. But I think the value of our solution, the value proposition, typically, I define them in 5 key bullet points. One is really that field proven in large and complex networks. We deployed in mega networks, very large organizations that they're very demanding. They definitely want to have a boiled product that enable them to work smoothly, regardless if they troubleshooting networks or they creating their security strategy across the digital assets. The number two is the field-proven interoperability with industry-leading vendors, and this is from both part of the coin, which is there are vendors that do doing the networking, which are typically will be the routing, switching infrastructure that you need to connect with different type of interfaces. So I think we connect almost to any element that exists today in the network. And obviously with the security stack, definitely a lot of installation with really credible names that you noticed in our technology alliance slide that I introduced. Number three is that we practically today providing single source of really comprehensive solution across any type of infrastructure, regardless if it will be network as a service or hybrid cloud. You can tap the traffic, you can intercept it, you can deliver it, and make it efficient in terms of passing it to the right tools. And the other two is really what we do is we help the IT to transform to next generation NOC and SOC. And this is again when looking on at different type of automation functions using more modern APIs, and really to enable the scale and optimize their processes and decreasing their operational expenses, because at the end of the day, the less resources they use, we save them in many times, not only the OpEx, it's also the CapEx. If you using today a huge firewall of 100 gig and you can still use 40 gig interfaces and do load balancing, you save a lot of CapEx. And we definitely help the IT to increase, especially today, which is really, everything is really mission critical. So we enable this increase of network services uptime and enable their inline security stack be more rigid and ensure that this is, again, everything is up and running. So with that said, I think we almost at the end of this webinar. I don't see any other questions. So Vivek, Paul, if you want to say a couple of other words, but if not, I think we're all set. So again, thank you all for attending our webinar. Paul, you wanted to say something?
No, I was just saying thank you, Zeb, for the presentation. Thank you, Vivek. And if any of you have any VAR-related questions, just go ahead and respond to it. And thank you for attending.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. And with that said, we're closing this webinar.
Thank you, everybody.